Hi, I'm Sage Roundtree, and I am delighted to give you this behind the scenes tour of Mastering the Art of Yoga Sequencing, my mentorship membership, aka 3Ms. It is indeed a Julia Child themed mentorship program for yoga teachers to help move you from feeling like a line cook or a franchise cook to a confident chef who can create your own recipes that really nourish your students and keep them hungry for more, keep them coming back to your classes. I'm here to help build your confidence and really help you feel like you've got control of your lesson plans and your career. So, you may be watching this video on YouTube, or you may be looking at it inside the tasting menu space at Comfort Zone Yoga. If you're a member of the Zone, my free community for yoga teacher development at comfortzoneyoga.com. If you are seeing it on the Comfort Zone site, you are inside the tasting menu space. If you're watching on YouTube, come through, join the Zone for free from the link in the show notes, and you will be able to get this view as well. So inside the tasting menu, I walk you through a little bit of what you'll get so you can make an informed decision about when you will join the mentorship. And when you do, you will come through first to this welcome space. Now, mise-en-place is a term that chefs use for setting everything in its place before service begins. So it's getting all your vegetables in their little bowls, all your sauces in their appropriate containers, and having everything just so that you can begin to prepare the meal. This welcome space walks you through that. There's a video for you, and then it will talk you through how to move through. First things first, you will learn how to grab your workbook, and this is a really robust Google Doc that you'll be working into across the time in the program. And then I'll talk you through what you can do in your very first hour inside the program. Step one is always to manage your notifications, because Circle, the software platform in which the studio is housed, likes to send you a lot of notifications. So I'll help you tweak them. And then let me feed you something. You will have immediate access to my follow-along movement library. And I invite you to come and take a class right away, because that's a really critical part of becoming a good yoga teacher, is to experience a lot of yoga yourself. Then within the first day, you will be adding our live calls to your calendar and creating a day one intake form so that I can mentor you to my best. I've also got emails that send you reminders to keep you on track with all of this. And within your first week in the program, you'll introduce yourself to your peers. You'll choose a lesson plan to begin to learn and teach to your students. And I give you in each of these recipes, each of these lesson plans, a lot of different ways that you can iterate it. We'll take a look at one in a little bit. Then you'll go on, and in the curriculum itself, there are 6 modules. The first one is going to help you really determine what your voice is and where you want to go as a yoga teacher. Then we work on things like including everyone in class, designing a class for one person. So you'll see it's like teaching the many and teaching the one. We work on finding ways to incorporate a theme in your yoga teaching. Maybe you know me from my work, Teaching Yoga Beyond the Poses and Teaching Yoga Beyond the Poses Volume 2, some of my many books for yoga teachers. Then I bring you farther into creating your own recipe box and developing a plan for your career outside the program. That's what the curriculum looks like. We'll take a look at it again in a moment. Let's click out of this space and start to tour the kitchen. Lineup is the period where the chef or the front of the house talk through how the run of service is going to go. So this is my announcements space. It's where I also post call replays, and there's a private podcast associated with the program. So if you don't want to sit and watch the replay, you can listen to it while you're on the go. There's an introduction space, and there's a live calls space. Here's where you RSVP to say you'll be at the calls, and you can add them right to your calendar from here. Note the Julia Child theme. In the chef's table, you can ask questions directly to me. In Cookie Swap and Tasters Please is where we're going to share something sweet. A cookie swap is a tradition in which you would bake your most wonderful batch of cookies and bring them with an empty cookie tin, and everybody takes out one of your cookies and puts them into their cookie tin. So that is our space here where we share some stuff that we found really useful or something that we heard or saw in class that we really liked. Tasters Please is where you will ask your peers for their support because your peers are going to give you the very best feedback you will receive as a yoga teacher, better even than mine, because they are right alongside you. They're in your cohort. So your students are not going to be the best source of feedback. If you do your job well, they might be nonverbal after their final relaxation, and they like you. They're going to tell you your class was good, even if there were specific things that didn't taste quite right and that could be improved. Your peers are going to be your best support here in the Tasters Please space. I said we'd take a look at a recipe. The recipe box has lesson plans, key to my book, The Art of Yoga Sequencing. But then also, I give you some others as we go along. Every month, I create a new recipe for you. There's also a Notion database. If you are familiar with Notion and like to play with it, this is a super robust database where I add each of the lesson plans and where you can add your own and your notes on them. Then you'll see here are some of the lesson plans that we've been working on lately. Recently, we did this Warriors to Balance, and let me show you how this kind of follows my S.E.R.V.E framework. So I structured the class for you based on sound physiological principles. That's the first S. Then you experience it as a student. You have a full hour-long video here to take and enjoy and follow along with. I break down for you how I put this together. See how this is like a recipe card for you. The ingredients, you can click through and watch each of these as little standalone sequences. Then we are working to repeat this over time. I'm inviting you to teach this class all month long, and I give you some V variations for how you might change things, how you might change them to suit your students in any given class, and how you might change them over the course of time, over several weeks. I often put in a little cooking class video like this. A cooking demo would mix the recipe and put it in the oven and immediately pull the baked version out. That's what this cooking class video is like. It's giving you a few things to think about as you iterate your sequence for your unique student population. And once we have had a live call based on this recipe, that goes into the recipe card here. I also give you some drink pairings, as it were, because we have a whole beverage cart that we are about to explore. Here are some themes that would go really well with this balanced, focused sequence. So every month, I give you this recipe card. You get a chance to experience it. If you can make it to the live call, great. You can ask questions live. You can also watch the replay and ask me questions in the chef's table space. The beverage cart, as I said, is your themes that go along. And these are categorized because this is a way to add some visual sorting based on whether it is a soothing beverage or stimulating beverage or simply something refreshing. If you're familiar with teaching yoga beyond the poses, you'll see those themes and a few extras. And these are all sortable also based on themes. If you're looking for something based on the sutras, you can sort it here. If you're looking for something based on seasons, you can sort it here, and so on. Now let's look inside the core curriculum of the program. Here's what it will look like when you come in. You see that there are 6 modules, and these are paced out for you, plated for you in 1-month intervals. But if you're really hungry to improve, you're welcome to jump ahead. And if you take a little bit longer, that's absolutely fine. At the end of your 6-month term, I will offer you an option to renew at the same price at which you joined, and you can keep going at that point. So each of these has got lessons. Some of the lessons are video, some of the lessons are written. Of course, you need to know where to start, so you'll get a Start You space, you'll grab your workbook, and you'll start to make your way through. As you go, when you complete a lesson, you'll check it off as completed, and it will be marked as completed here. So you'll see there are lots of important exercises for you to do. I think the very most important one is to do your self-audit as a teacher, is to record your class, as painful as it may be, and then to self-assess and ask your friends for assessment. And that's what this lesson is giving you an example of. As I said, the first module is to see where you are so you know where you want to go. The second module is to include almost everyone in class. We talk about ways to include a variety of people in your class. The third module is how to design for specific populations, how to teach a private lesson, and how to teach a workshop. Module 4 is how to theme with confidence. That is based on teaching yoga beyond the poses. Module 5 is how to take what you have learned, these cooking techniques, these deep structures that I've taught you over the course of these recipes I've been feeding you, and you start to move from having me do it for you to you doing it for yourself. I'm here to review your lesson plans. Your peers in the program are here to review your lesson plans for you. We're going to get you really confident that you can create wonderful lesson plans. And then we start to think about what's next for you and plan where you might go from here. This is the bulk of the core curriculum, but also we have a lot of fun on our calls. Let's go to the live call space again. We have 2 live calls a month. One is the recipe implementation call. I lead the calls. I walk you through a little bit of movement keyed to the recipe. Then we go quiet for 25, 30 minutes of quiet co-working where you can really dig into the recipe. You can stay on your mat. You can sit at your desk. You think through, how will I adapt this recipe for the students I expect to encounter over the next 4 weeks as I teach it? And then we come back together as a group and you get to ask all of your questions. You can brainstorm with us. You can troubleshoot with us. We're going to get you really clear so that you have your whole month of lesson plans ready to go by the end of that call. But there's also a second call every month, and it is a Shooting the Breeze student-led Teachers Lounge call. You can submit your questions ahead of time, whether or not you can make the call live, and your friends and I will answer them. But then you can also just come, show up, and talk about what's going on in your teaching life and your career. I love doing these calls. We have a great time. And they all wind up in our private podcast feed for the mentorship membership as well. So if the time doesn't work for you, maybe you're in Europe and it's the evening when you're teaching, or maybe you're on the West Coast and it's the morning when you're teaching, no worries. We're here to support you both asynchronously and when you do make it live. If that's all that you took from the program, I think you're going to get a ton of value out of it, but then there's some extras in here for you. Now we're in the dessert kitchen, the pastry station, where you'll find some expanded techniques for your career. This is something that I'm building out according to student requests, and the first request that folks had in the program was how to create video content. Look at this robust course on the basics of creating video content, how to film it, where you can post it, where you can host it, where you can charge for it. I am here to answer your requests and build courses that will give you the tools you need to feel confident in your teaching. I'll do that for you the day you join. Then moving out of the pastry station and into the pantry, here are some staples. These may be things that you feel like your 200-hour yoga teacher training didn't cover sufficiently for you, things you want to brush up on. There's some of my original online courses in here. There's a huge course on sequencing. I called this whole thing a mega course on how to sequence every element of class. If you are familiar with my book, The Art of Yoga Sequencing, this is going to walk you through that in great depth with lots of examples, movement-led examples. Then we have a whole course on professionalism for movement teachers, ways that you can improve your relationships with yourself, with money, with your colleagues, with your studio, with the law, with the Yoga Alliance, and so on. Finally, there's a course here on classroom management and safety. I like to call this How to Handle Everything from Heart Attacks to Fart Attacks. And it is a fun course to watch because it includes student-led skits. So if you are a fan of skits, you will love that. Finally, there's a content creation course for yoga teachers, how to plan, how to produce, how to promote your content, and then how to replicate your content. If you've been afraid of social media, this is a really nice basics course to get you up to speed there. And it is a bonus when you sign up for Mastering the Art of Yoga Sequencing. So there is your tour through the space. We'll go back to the space that you will see when you sign up. When you are ready to join, you can come right to sageroundtree.com/mentorship, or if you're watching this on YouTube, to the link in the show notes. And I will be waiting for you inside, ready to feed you your first lead movement class. If you have questions about this program, hit me up, info@sageroundtree.com with no letter D in my last name. It constitutes half of my 300-hour yoga teacher training. It is the required portion. So everybody who's going to earn their 300-hour certification with me has come through this program so that I can really help you level up in exactly the areas where you need to feel confident and secure in your structures and your systems. You can do the other half as Teaching Yoga to Athletes, my signature course that I've been offering since 2012. It helps even if you don't think you want to work with athletes, because that's really a course on how to determine your students' needs, their movement patterns, their thought patterns, and find ways to help them better using yoga. But you also could use any of the other courses that you'll see in the Courses tab at comfortzoneyoga.com. I'll click us through here, even though my view is going to be a little bit more robust than yours. There are some free courses, including Find Your Teaching Voice, Fundamentals of Confident Teaching, and Workshops 101. But then there are some paid courses as well. Each of these offers 20 CEUs, so if you want to do them as a standalone and not as part of the 300, they're there for you too. I have a course on teaching balance, a course on teaching yin yoga. I'm currently offering a live sutra study course with my co-author Alexander Desiato, and Joe Paul Naughton Travers and I have a teaching trauma-sensitive yoga course for you here. I'm working on teaching restorative yoga and then teaching yoga nidra later in 2025. So this is a work in progress. It continues to grow, and I'd love to see you in to get you rolling.